I'm tired of every ARK 100 days video feeling exactly the same. So I'm changing that. I've got 100 days to beat the island's 3 bosses and the Overseer using only the most underrated dinosaurs that nobody uses ever in their playthrough. I spawned in on the beaches of West Zone 1 because this day 1 was going to be a little bit different. I was going to go on a note run so I could get a bunch of levels really early into this video. I got the first Explorer note, and then I got the other ones. But after that, I wanted to go to the area that I was actually going to spawn in at. So I went to the swamp so I could die so I could spawn in the area I wanted to go to.
Here we go again.
After spawning in, again, I actually didn't start by punching a tree. I actually found a green drop that had a decent amount of trank arrows so I could knock stuff out. I then punched a tree so I could get the early game resources, then I made a thatch foundation so I could place down a forge. Then I placed a smithy. And if you're curious about the list of dinosaurs I would consider underrated, it's on the screen right now. You can pause and look at it, but if not, enjoy the rest of the video. Day 3 I went hunting, and I decided to go climbing up a mountain so I could go get a medal and make my awesome spyglass, which is basically just like a spyglass, but awesome. So after that, I found a decent level Parasaur on the beach, and I decided to tame it up. Now, I know what you're probably thinking, a Parasaur is not that underrated. Well, I forgot about that at this time, but spoiler alert, he does die very soon, so sorry about that. Day 5, I decided I would go try to tame a Spinosaurus that was really close to my base. It was a really low level, and I thought I could easily tame it. And you're probably thinking, a Spinosaurus is not a bad tame. Yeah, it's not bad, but it's very underrated. You see, it does a lot of damage and is good for boss fights. But Rexes and Therazinos are just better, so nobody ever uses the Spino. But that's what I will be using primarily in this video for the boss fights. Anyways, he got very mad and started to attack me. But then I knocked him out, and he fell asleep in the water, which I was scared at first that he would drown, but then I realized he was a Spino. And while trying to get back to my base, this Baryonyx tried to waterboard me and Douglas, but somehow I made it out of there, but Douglas did not. Rip Douglas. After a couple minutes of waiting, the Spinosaurus finally tamed up and I could bring it back to my base. So after getting the materials for a raft, I sailed over to the area that I would get metal early game. This area had a lot of metal and it was really easy to get, but what I didn't realize is that Troodons were going to attack me. Even though I had stopped 2 of them, the last one knocked me unconscious and killed me. And when I made it back, I snuck over there, grabbed my stuff, and slowly got back to my raft with all my metal. So once I got back to my Spino, I moved all the stuff from my base onto my raft, because I wanted to go move to a new base location that was pretty far away. And on the way up there, I could get all the stuff I needed to make my Spinosaurus saddle. So after I respawned, I grabbed a bunch of cementing paste and made my Spinosaurus a saddle. And so I could level him up, I flew him, I guess. Did I say flew him? I rode him all the way over to Carno Island so I could kill a bunch of creatures to level him. So after I got my Spino to a pretty decent level, I made a bunch of narcotics and went out to go either find a high level Spino or a decent level Thylacoleo. So after scanning the entire Redwoods, I could not find a single high level Thylacoleo. I hate the island levels and I really just want to go back to Astraeos. Those levels were so good. But I eventually found a level 10 which is like absolutely trash, but it was the best one I found, so I went ahead and tamed it. and the process of getting it back to my base was horrible. And once I got it back, I made a saddle and I tested it out. With my Thylacoleo, I went out to try to find some high-level Spinosauruses that I could tame so I could bring them into the boss fights. It was already pretty late into the challenge and I wanted to start breeding the Spinos as soon as possible. Unfortunately, I didn't find any, and for some reason on my way back to my base, I decided to climb up a mountain. I don't really know why, I just thought it'd be kind of fun. Then after that, I wanted to go get some oil so I could make cryopods because I did not want to have the Spino following me if I did find one to tame. So I tried to look for some underwater, but there was none. So I went into the snow and nearly died. I barely made it out of the snow without freezing to death. Day 20, I made the lesser antidote, so whenever I would go caving, yes, I was planning on going caving very soon, I would not get mega rabies, or whenever I did get mega rabies, I could get rid of it quite easily. After that, I went and made a cryopod, because I knew the cave that I was going to, the Carno Island cave, my Thylacoleo was way too fat to fit through, so I would need the cryopod in the beginning section. But once I got through the water section, I knew how challenging this cave would be. On day 23, I decided to go out and try to find some high-level Spinos to tame because I was a fourth of the way through this challenge and I needed to hurry up and start breeding them. Even if it wasn't a great level, I still needed them. And guess what I found? Yeah, not the Spino. I mean, did you really expect me to find the Spino? This is ARK we're talking about. But what I did find was the lower south cave, which is the easiest cave on the map. So I did most of it on foot, but on the end, I did throw out my Thylacoleo, and I grabbed the artifact and got out of there. After that, I did find a level 54 Spinosaurus. It wasn't the best Spino by any means, but it was the best one I'd seen in my entire 25 days of playing this game already. So I decided to tame it up, but I didn't make a trap.
You don't want to be like this. This is disgusting. This is awful in every way.
Yeah, this was the worst taming process I've ever done. And what made it even worse was once it was fully knocked out, a Troodon decided to mess up its taming effectiveness. Oh, come on, bro. What was the point of that? That was so annoying. Its effectiveness is all destroyed now. But I was out of trank arrows, so it wasn't like I could knock it out again. Once it tamed up, I brought it back to my base and started to breed them, and I got an egg. So after I had an army of, quite honestly, pretty bad Spinosauruses, I decided to go do the final artifact cave before I could fight the broodmother, which was the lava cave. It was pretty easy, but it got a little sketchy in a few areas. So after that, I was mostly just waiting for my Spinos to wake up and to heal so I could do the broodmother. So I flew around just looking for some high level tames that I could possibly fight some other bosses with. So while I was in the Redwoods, I got jumped by a Thylacoleo. And honestly, with the fog, I could not even tell where it was. It was super scary, and I almost died because of the cryo sickness that I had to wait for to throw out my Thylacoleo. So after I destroyed the broodmother is a joke, I decided to heal up my Spinos so I could try to do the hard snow cave. So I lost the footage of me getting into the cave, but basically there's now a Karcha camping the exit. So yeah, I don't know how I'm gonna escape, but let's not worry about that for now. So I threw out my Spino and got ready to do the cave. So yeah, I died, and I didn't have any sleeping bags, so I know this is kind of a cheap thing to do, but I purposely crashed the game so it would load me back at my last save, which wasn't even that far before this. It's pretty cheap, but I gotta fix my upload schedule and not worry about this cave, so... After that, I went to go tame a Sarco, because Sarcos are actually super duper good underwater tames. I think they were actually my first tame to ever go underwater in ARK, like way back when I first started playing Evolved. So it was honestly kind of nostalgic taming this Sarco, and I named him Marco the Sarco. And after that, I brought him back to my base, made a saddle, and prepared to do the easy underwater cave. And as the name says, it is easy, but I've never done this cave on a Sarco before. It was actually pretty easy, because not a lot of creatures really spawned in the cave, but the same could not be said about the next one that I went into. The next one, before I could fight the monkey, was the Upper South Cave. Now, unlike the Lower South Cave, this one's actually kind of a challenge, and I would never recommend doing this on a Thylacoleo. This was such a pain, because it was way too fat to fit through most of the corridors, and I kept on having to cryopod it up, and it took like over 3 days to do the cave just because of having to cryopod the Thylacoleo so many times. But I eventually did get the artifact. Then after preparing a couple of days, my Spinos were full health and I was ready to fight the monkey. So after we annihilated the monkey, I decided to go try to find a good mount to do the swamp cave. And I thought that a dire bear would probably do the job quite well, so I went to the Redwoods to go find it. But while I was there, I got attacked by a Thylacoleo in possibly the weirdest way. But then I got sidetracked because I found a Quetzal, and these are pretty rare, so I wanted to tame it up. And the way that I'm doing it, I have a grapple attached to my Tapejara, and I whistle for him to attack the Quetzal. And normally you're supposed to do this with a parachute, but I didn't have one. So I hit the ground too hard and died. But I eventually got my stuff back. And I spent the next day just looking for my Tapajara, but I eventually found him. And after that, I went to go do the easy snow cave. I haven't done this cave in such a long time, so I don't really remember the way to go and how to do this cave. So I was kind of going into this blind. Right after that, I found a high-level Carno in this little clearing right by the volcano, so I went ahead and knocked him out. And I spent the next day just healing him up. And after that, I went to go do the hard underwater cave on Marco the Sarco. It was honestly super sketchy, and I kind of forgot where the pit was so I could go get the artifacts. So yeah, there was like a billion mosasaurs, but that is the story on how a Sarco named Marco juked out about 100 megalodons. But I wanted to hurry up and fight the dragon so I could prepare for the tech cave and overseer. So I went to the last cave, the swamp cave, and decided to do that. Yeah, I know I wasn't using a dire bear, but I could not find any high levels. So I decided to just use Thyler. And after bringing my Spinos to the red obelisk so I could fight the dragon, I AFK'd a couple of days. Mostly, I was just watching videos of people fight the dragon because I completely forgot how to fight it. But after that, I was ready to fight it.
Jerry, how'd you survive?
So I beat the dragon, but I had nothing. One Spino, a Carno, and a Thylacoleo. And the Thylacoleo can't even go into the boss fight arena. So how was I gonna do the tech cave? Pause. Yeah, I know it only says day 80, but the way that I have my settings, like 20 days is like a couple of hours. I did not have enough time to tame up a bunch of Spinos, breed them, get good levels, do all that stuff. So this is it. This is gonna be the end of the video. Well, I was gonna do it, but I did not have high hopes for the Overseer at all. I knew I was gonna die, but that wasn't really the point. I already proved my point in this video, that you don't need the best Rexes, you don't need the best UTs, you don't need the best Theries, because sometimes the underrated dinosaurs are the best dinosaurs for the stuff to use. Did I word that right? I hope I did. Anyways, thank you for watching. Enjoy me getting cooked by the Overseer.